you for joining us. We are on the verge of what could be World War III. As Dr. Jerome Corsi said yesterday, and as many top analysts are now saying, the Russians and the Chinese are now threatening NATO, saying if you strike them, there will be repercussions. There are Russian troops piling off ships right now into Syria, and Russian civilians are being evacuated. NBC News is announcing that they plan to start bombing as early as Thursday or Friday. It'll happen Thursday or Friday. The Washington Post has the headline from a Reuters poll, scientific. Only 9% of respondents said they believed that the U.S. military should respond to what's happening in Syria. And the vast majority also do not believe that the Syrian government launched the chemical attack. Yeah, because it goes against logic, and we've caught them in these lies over and over again. And no one believes a word Obama says. Now, here's my issue. When Kerry gets up and says it doesn't matter, we're going to play this clip coming up, says it doesn't matter who did it. That's also in the Wall Street Journal. We've got to go in because the chemicals have been used. It's incredible. Well, there are videos up on worldnetdaily.com. We have it linked on INFOWARS.com right now. And WorldNet Daily has the Arab speakers to break it down. We've checked it. It's how it translates. They're up there with the mortars, firing them. This is unprecedented. Here's the headline. Syria gas attack, work of U.S. allies. Dr. Jerome Corsi, very respected person, of course, PhD, Harvard University, political science, a best-selling, New York Times best-selling author of Unfit for Command and so many other amazing books, worked as a consultant at the highest levels of national security. I'll just leave it at that. I know large areas of the Pentagon know this is a pure evil, what's about to happen, and the Russians will probably respond. So I want to give him the floor. We only got him for this segment. Dr. Corsi, how big is this? That they're doing this and that they don't have support. Bush had 72% in Gallup polls, and Pew had 72 in 2003. I think this is the total collapse of credibility, but it's kind of like Hitler wasn't supported at the end either, but he was still in control of the Reich. What are we seeing here, and break down this bombshell?
Well, first of all, Alex, the article we got running on WorldNetDaily, WND.com right now, as you say, I went yesterday and researched, checked with the Arabic-speaking sources, Walid Shobat, who helped write the article. There's numerous videos on the internet and in the Arabic-speaking world that make it clear the rebels are the ones who have launched the sarin gas attacks, not the Assad government. Now, the Assad government is not a great government. I mean, there's no good guys in Syria, but the point is the truth is the truth. And I think the attempt by the Obama administration, which now appears to be the second time the Obama administration has tried this, there was the narrative being run out of the White House back in May that the Assad government was launching chemical attacks. But the problem is that there's no validation of it. There's no hard proof. John Kerry, Secretary of State, said yesterday he has indisputable proof. Well, let's see it. Why don't we see this proof? It's not there. Even the United Nations, going back to May, doubted very seriously that the Assad regime, as bad as it is, was going to use sarin gas attacks. As you said, it does not make any sense. Why, when the Assad government's winning, would it resort to sarin gas attacks? And with video after video, with testimony after testimony coming out of the Arab world, in Syria, it's widely known that it's the rebels, which are a group of Al-Qaeda, Muslim Brotherhood, ragtag radicals that are opposing the regime and the Obama administration is supporting. These are not good guys. And to think that they wouldn't use sarin gas attacks stretches the imagination, especially when we have pictures of the sarin gas arsenals with the gas and the other chemicals coming from Saudi Arabia. I mean, it seems to me that if the Obama administration is going to go to war on Syria, which is what this means, a very massive step. I mean, I can't emphasize to people listening how much we are on the verge here of World War III. Russia and China are not going to sit by if Obama thinks he can wag the dog, get attention off of his other problems, or run a false flag here, it isn't going to fly with Russia and China saying to Obama, you don't have the evidence, and we're not going to tolerate a military attack. That's it. That's it, Alex. It was a very, very frightening moment in U.S. in world history.
Very, very succinctly said, Dr. Corsi. I want to break something down for my listeners and viewers out there. You have never talked like this in the decade that I've been interviewing you or more. And I've talked to a lot of other top people on and off air about this. Colonel Schaefer is one of them, but many others off record. And they all are saying exactly what you're saying. And it's so transparent. How does Obama think he's going to get away with this?
Well, again, I think the Obama administration has gotten to the point where they think they can lie with impunity. Certainly that's what this appears to be. And, Alex, I don't think we've been in a more critical moment since the Cuban Missile Crisis. Now, the Cuban Missile Crisis, Jack Kennedy had photographs of the missiles from U-2 flights over Cuba. And Jack Kennedy showed those to the world. He went to the United Nations and he said, here's the pictures of the missiles in Cuba. Obama has not done that. Obama has not presented to the American people or to the UN his evidence of the Assad regime being involved in the sarin gas attacks. And you've got Assad denying it, you've got Russia denying it, you've got China denying it, all of them with logic on their side. And we've published at WND the videos where you can see with your own eyes the terrorists, the rebels, the forces Obama's supporting being the culprits in the gas attacks.
Absolutely, and we're linked to that article as well and mirrored at INFOWARS.com. It's very important that people get all the articles that are coming out at WND.com, DrudgeReport.com, INFOWARS.com, and get those out to everybody. And I'm very sad to see some of the mainline conservative talk radio saying, well, I don't like Assad or I don't like the rebels either, but I don't like Obama, but we got to get behind this. I think Obama is gambling that if they can start the war, and then undoubtedly they've got Russian anti-aircraft missiles, Russian anti-ship missiles, you will see Americans die, probably in large numbers. They think Americans are going to get behind this. I don't think that's the case, because usually going into one of these, they've got over 70%. They've got 9% approval rating. I think this is one of the most historic things to ever happen to the globalist. I believe we've seen a collapse in their con game here, and that the fact that the rebels had to launch this because they're losing the war, the al-Qaeda rebels, shows desperation on so many fronts. Dr. Corsi, what does this poll number signify? And is there any way for Obama and his kleptocratic wing to back off out of this? Or will they really try to commit us to World War III? What are your sources saying?
I want to make a couple of points. One, first of all, people got to realize that, Russia and China are not borrowing $1 trillion a year to make their budget. We are. We're in a vastly weakened economic position, and the world knows it. Secondly, where American public opinion is right now is not in favor of a military action, and I don't see it changing quickly. Now, let's say we have a cruise missile attack or we have a bomber attack over Syria. If we get involved in a shooting war, not just with Syria, but with Russia, or with Russia and China, the ramifications of that are unpredictable and unpredictably frightening. Because if Russia and China say to the United States, you can't sustain a war economically, and you're on the wrong side here, and if Russia and China stand behind Assad, which they are doing, we're escalating the whole conflict beyond the level of surrogates into where we're risking a direct confrontation with Russia, certainly with Russia.
And giving them the moral high ground, which history shows you cannot win an immoral war long term.
Well, where is, at least with Jack Kennedy in the White House, he sent Adlai Stevenson, who was the UN ambassador to the UN, and he showed the pictures of the missiles in Cuba. Today, we don't have a single thing.
By the way, they're coming out with this new dossier, but I expect that to be more, phony baloney as well. What are you expecting?
Remember, we've gone through this. The the left is, the duplicity here is amazing to me. When it was George W. Bush saying there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, the left, John Kerry, Barack Obama were all over the issue, saying it was a lie. And now you've got Obama and Kerry using the same lie to advance what could end up being another phony pretext for a phony war. I think the American people can see through this.
Sure, we got 1 minute left. Bottom line, what do you expect to happen in your gut?
My gut is that the Obama administration is so far out in the limb, they're going to attack, and we're going to come to the edge of World War III.
Unfortunately, I agree with you. I hope everybody's saying their prayers for their children tonight. And
people better understand how serious this is. It's been one of the most serious moments in world history that we have ever faced.
And they're all doing it because these power-mad control freaks that run Washington think they're invincible.
And Obama does not want us talking about the IRS scandal with the Tea Party groups or the NSA eavesdropping on
Benghazi.
Or Benghazi, or the fact that we're again out of money and spending another $1 trillion we don't have on an out-of-control budget. Obama doesn't want these topics.
Doctor, we're going to have to get updates from you every day if we can do it. I know you've got to go. Please join us again tomorrow. I know you're on top of this like no one else. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Alex. Great to be with you.
Wow. Man, I'm going to tuck my kids in tonight twice and kiss them twice. I mean, I hate the New World Order. These people are the greatest threat to civilization. We've got to stop these people. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Ask yourselves, what are you doing in this time of great challenge? What are you doing to unlock minds?